Hey, sixth graders, I'm back again with another myth from Mythological Creatures, a classical beastiary by Lynn Curley. Another one about a mythological creature. This one is one of my favorite myths. I like the one about the Cyclopes, the one-eyed giant, in the myth The Odyssey. That's one of my favorites. It's actually not a myth. It's called a, I forgot. It's like a long poem. My brain's failing me. I'll think of it while we're on our video here. The Greek army sailed across the Aegean Sea on 1,000 ships to make war against the city of Troy in Asia Minor. After 10 years of bloodshed, the war was over and Troy was in ashes. But in their victory, the Greeks forgot to properly honor the gods. So Poseidon sent a hurricane to destroy their fleet. Tossed in every direction, only a few ships survived. One of them belonged to Odysseus, a Greek general, now lost with his men upon a vast ocean. Just wanted to remind you who we're trying to picture here. One day they landed on a rocky island and decided to spend the night in a warm cave, little knowing that the island belonged to the Cyclopes, a tribe of brutish giants. The cave was home to Polyphemus, a shepherd. That's a person that takes care of sheep. Like all Cyclops, he was tall as an oak and with his limbs were as thick as tree trunks. He had but one staring eye in the middle of his face. Some may say face only a mother could love. Who knows? And his favorite food was human flesh. What? He had but one staring eye in the middle of his face, and his favorite food was human flesh. When he returned and discovered the Greeks in his cave, Polyphemus took 2 men and devoured them, bones and all. The next morning, when he left with his goats, the Cyclops rolled a huge boulder over the cave entrance to imprison the rest of the Greeks. Then, when he returned that evening, he ate 2 more men. Odysseus, he was the leader of the ship, dared not kill the Cyclops when he slept. He was the only giant, for he was the only giant could move the boulder. So the next night, he offered Polyphemus some strong wine. After the Cyclops had drunk himself into a stupor, Odysseus took a sharpened stake and thrust it deep into the Cyclops' eye. Polyphemus shrieked in agony, staggered about, blindly groping for the men, but they hid among the goats. Sheep. The next day, when the blinded Cyclops led out of his flock, Odysseus and his men escaped by clinging to the upside down to the wool of the sheep's bellies, where the giant could not feel them. The longer version of this story is my absolute favorite. The Cyclops. Want to know more about it? Check out Odysseus or The Odyssey. Thanks for listening.